ABC, it's Ron. Thanks for stopping by. Well, welcome to Hog's Den in full HD. That's right, I got a new camera yesterday and quite pleased with it. Got a great deal on it and it was just time to upgrade. The camera I had before was just HD and it just wasn't doing it for me. So I got something better and I'm pretty happy about it. Alright. Got a stack of albums today, and before we get to those, I'll tell you what's on the turntable. It's a tribute to the Fuzz Tones, in Fuzz We Trust. This came out in 2013, and it's older recordings from 2003 of old 60s and psych bands doing Fuzz Tone songs. So this is just killer 4-star album, double LP. And we're listening to Action Speaks Louder Than Words by Question Mark and the Mysterians right now. And then after that is The Wallflowers, and then Craig Moore and Davey Allen. And then after that will be Black Box by Vanilla Fudge, and that's killer. So check this one out if you don't have it. Now while we're in the garage, I'm going to show you an all-girl group from Los Angeles, and they're from the 80s. And I remember seeing this album in the bins back then, but I just thought it was probably cheesy, so I didn't buy it. I was really wrong. This is a really good, raw garage. And it's the Pandoras, It's About Time. So it's come out in '84 on the Vox label. And this is their debut album. And I did get a second pressing from the late 80s, but that's alright. So if you want the first press, it'll be the silver Vox label. Then I picked up a recent reissue of St. Anthony's Fire. This is 1970 heavy bluesy rock. Pretty killer stuff here, and originals go for a lot of money. They reproduced the original cover and label, Zonk Records. I found out this is actually a counterfeit of a 2013 official release reissue, and you can tell that by a glossy cover, whereas the 2013 release will just have a matte finish cover. Sounds real good. A lot of the older reissues I've heard that don't sound good, but this one does sound good. Here's another reissue from 1997, I believe, and it's a 1972 prog psych band called Steel Mill, and the name of the album is Green Eyed God. And this is killer 4-star stuff here. And excuse me. It's on the Essex label. So even these go for good money. I paid like 40 bucks for this, but it's near mint. So Side 1's pretty freaky. Side 2 is a little more UK styled prog rock. It's got heaviness, it's got weirdness, it's got light stuff, it's got some flute. Side 2's got some flute, but it gives it a mystical sound, and it's pretty cool. Originally only released in Germany in 1972, then it was issued in '75 in the UK finally, and those pressings go for $3,000-$4,000, whereas even the original German from '72 don't bring that kind of money. But since they were a UK band, people want the UK pressing, I guess. But pretty cool. Alright, this next one is the latest album by the Jonestown Massacre. Comes with this heavy vinyl sleeve, which I don't really like. because they're not good for the records. They can haze out the vinyl. So it already had a big split at the edge, like, you know, about that, like that long. So I went ahead and I split it all the way down, and I could take the album out without destroying the sticker that's on the flap on the back. And this is the album cover. I believe this is a UK pressing, I'm not sure. I think it is. It's on hazy clear vinyl. And the band kind of reverts back to their original style from the 90s on this album. Lately they've been going into more of a proggy territory, but this is more like the 60s garage psych sound that they originally did, and it's a good album. I like it. Okay, this next one, I picked this up out of Goodwill, near mint condition. It's Donovan, 25 Years in Concert. Kind of an obscure album, and it came out in 1991 in Holland. It may have been released in other countries, and it's all live. It's all live 80s stuff of various years, recorded between 82 and 86. It's on the Dino label. It sounds really good, and it's got a 6-minute recording of Hurdy-Gurdy Man on here, acoustic. And during the song, and towards the end of the song, Donovan starts talking about how he and the Beatles were in India in '68. They met the Maharishi Yogi. And Donovan performed Hurdy-Gurdy Man there, and George Harrison told him that he could write a verse for that song. So George wrote a verse for Hurdy-Gurdy Man. He gave it to Donovan, but Donovan never recorded it. But he performs the song with George Harrison's verse on this album. And I don't want to read the lyrics because I don't want to ruin it. It's the kind of thing you just have to hear. Maybe you could find it on YouTube somewhere. If anything, get the album. It's really cool. Okay, here's Arthur Lee in Love, The Complete Forever Changes Live. And this is a 2017 release, a US domestic on Rock Beat label. And it's got the entire Forever Changes Live, plus some, the Forever Changes stuff is live at the Glastonbury Festival in the UK, June of 2003. So it's different from the DVD. And it also has extra tracks recorded live in Copenhagen, Denmark in 1970. And one of the, there's some bonus tracks on here for the Forever Changes concert. And one of the songs that they did was Your Mind and We Belong Together, which was originally only a 45 from 1968. It was like one of the very last recordings that the original Love Band recorded before they broke up. So that's I've been wanting that single forever, but I don't have it. So to have a live version of it, it's pretty cool. And if you've never heard that, there's a studio recording of it on YouTube with the promo video. Okay, this one's pretty obscure. I didn't know what it was, but it was super clean and cheap, so I grabbed it. It's an album by the Nobody Else. And it is on the Hip label. And the Hip label only had a few albums and some 45s before they folded. And Hip Records was actually a sub-label of stacks. So the best thing on that label is the Southwest FOB album. This is all right. I like it. I listened to it a couple of times, and some people don't like it. There's a really bad review of this album on Discogs. The guy went so far as to say it was unlistenable. I don't agree with that at all. I think it's pretty cool. It's sort of country rock with psych stuff thrown in. It's cool. And this band was from Black Oak, Arkansas. In fact, this is the band at Black Oak, Arkansas before they changed their name. So they did some earlier recordings before this 1969 album came out, from more like 67, and that's supposed to be really good psych. And that's been available on a CD. It was like a previously unreleased thing that came out years ago. This is another really obscure album, and it's by a band called Shariat. It's come out in '69, and this is heavy blues rock. It's not blues in the strict sense of the word, but it's bluesy. And it's on the National General label, which is the label that put out Silver Meter, featuring Lee Stevens from Blue Cheer. And that label only had a few releases as well. But it's a good, solid album. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing that's going to blow your mind. But it's just a good bluesy rock album that's obscure. This next one is the second album by the band Cactus, One Way or Another. And this is this really good 4-star album. Yeah, the first two Cactus albums are 4 stars. The third one is extremely disappointing compared to these two, but yeah, this is really cool. And I didn't realize it till I got it home, but this is actually a Robert Ludwig mastering. So it commands a premium price because he mastered it. It doesn't hold the value of, say, the Led Zeppelin II or Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsies, but it's definitely up into the $40–50 range for a near mint copy. And I got it, around $10–15 or whatever it was. And it had the poster with it. Which is pretty hard to find, I guess. Okay, a couple more. We got this one's Steve Still's Manassas, double album from '72. This is a good album, but it's very 70s rock. It's not really the kind of thing I go after. I mean, I do like Stephen Stills, but it's good, but it's not something I would play a lot. It has, it's actually a Record Club edition. It has a Record Club sticker on the back here. And the labels are identified as being Record Club. Green and red Atlantic label. And it has the inner sleeves. And it has the hard to find poster. And the back has lyrics that Stephen Still's handwriting. Kind of did, you know, like what Neil Young was doing. Okay, one more. I think this is the first album by the Arrows on Tower, 1965, I guess. And this band's also known as Davy Allen and the Arrows. This is a mono copy. It's actually on the rough side. I wouldn't play this album. It was only a few dollars, so I picked it up. And the reason I picked it up is it appears to be autographed on the front. This signature says, "With love, Stephen." It's in ballpoint pen. And this is Steve right here. He was the bass player, Stephen Poog. And the other signature appears to be Davy Allen's signature. And he was the leader and guitarist right here. That's Davy. So yeah, I looked that signature up online. I could not find any vintage signatures from him, but I found some recent ones. And sort of similar, real sloppy, you know, more of a scribble more than anything. But it could be legitimate. So, pretty cool. Well, that's going to do it for the showing. And I'll probably have another albums recent finds video up in a month or so. Maybe in a couple of weeks I can do a little 45s showing. It'll be on the short side of things, but I do have some 45s to show. So that'll kind of hold you over until the next album showing. So I guess that's going to do it, and nothing left to say, but catch you next time. Have a good one. Later.